within a short notice. Normally, we didn't need to speak on some of these developments, both in the PDP and from the Supreme Court, if not because of the high level of propaganda and lies being peddled, and it's very important that we keep our millions of supporters on the same page with us. And to start from the Supreme Court, it's very clear to state this categorically clear, very clear, that there is, and I repeat, there is no judgment from the Supreme Court that has affected the issue of the speakership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, ably led by Okejumbo. There is no case or judgment that have been lost by Governor Fubara at the Supreme Court. No case, and I want to repeat that very clear because of this misinformation, that there is no judgment from the Supreme Court that was lost by Governor Fubara. There is no judgment that was lost by the Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, Okejumbo. There is no judgment anywhere from the Supreme Court that have touched on the issue of speakership of the Rivers State House of Assembly. And I repeat that again for those who didn't hear me clear. There is no judgment from the Supreme Court that was lost by Governor Fubara, and there is no judgment from the Supreme Court that affirmed the sacked Pro-Wike lawmakers. And there is also no judgment that has affected the legitimacy of the speakership of Okejumbo. So in view of that, I want to read an extract from what was filed at the Supreme Court, for which the Supreme Court gave a statutory ruling this afternoon. As you people can remember, there was contention over where the budget of 2024 last year should be presented. That matter went to Supreme Court, but during the pendency of that matter, 2024 expired. The budget of 2024 fully passed, fully spent, and fully executed by the government of led by Governor Fubara. So the question you ask yourself: if 2024 have passed, if the budget of 2024 was passed, if the budget of 2024 was executed, why should we be in Supreme Court fighting over where we should present, or whether we should present or represent a 2024 budget? It's like going to court to say where 1982 budget should be presented. Presented for who? The money has been spent, it has been executed. So even if you say you want to present it to who? Budget is about income and expenditure. The income, are people going to repay new taxes there? So because that budget has been well spent and well executed, and the massive project is all over there in Rivers, the Trans-Calabari Highway, and numerous projects, now there was no need to continue that case at the Supreme Court. So what the lawyers to Governor of Rivers State did was to withdraw the appeal, because there's nothing we're appealing against. 2024 is gone. 2025 has been passed. 2025 is what is being executed as we speak now. So it was a mere total academic error, and that is why they discontinued that process. And in that case, the court will normally strike it out. So where is the victory? But because, I don't know why the Pro-Wike group likes political masturbation so much. Maybe it helps them to relieve the pressure of the fact that they cannot dip their hand into the public purse of Rivers people. Now you don't go to town and say he won. You didn't win anything. Look at it here. Governor Fubara withdrew it, because there was no need appealing over where 2024 budget should be presented. It's like arguing over where 1999 budget should be presented. The taxes have been paid, the taxes have been spent. So to save the Supreme Court time, so that you don't go about, litigating over somebody who is a matter that is dead, they will do it, and that is SC/CV 1071/2024. And let me read what was filed in court, for you to understand that these people are just local propagandists. Now, between Governor of Rivers State and the sacked lawmakers. Now, notice of withdrawal of appeal pursuant to Order 11, Rule 14 of the Supreme Court Rule 2024 and under the inherent jurisdiction of this Honorable Court. Take notice that the appellant, which is Governor of Rivers State, herein intends and wholly, that is voluntarily, withdraws his appeal against all the respondents in this appeal. The appeal has been overtaken by event dated this 6th day of February 2025, filed by Professor Yusuf Ali, SAN, and Chief Chris Uche, Toyo Yotibo, and so on and so forth. And let me read it again. Take notice that the appellant herein intends and wholly withdraws his appeal against all the respondents in this appeal. The appeal has been overtaken by event. Is it that they didn't go to school or whatever they take in FCT? Look at it, the appeal has been overtaken by events. And what is it, this event? The appeal is on 2024 budget where it should be presented. 2024 have expired. Revenue collected, revenue spent. And the man says, by this same Order 11 Rule 14 of the Supreme Court rules, why should we go and be wasting the time to discussing about a dead matter? Are we going to collect new taxes? Are we going to do new expenditures? The matter is dead, and that is why they withdrew the matter, and the matter was struck out. It is the procedure. So the information flying about is just to me is a local propaganda that maybe gives them a temporary relief of the fact that they find it difficult to live with the fact that the treasury of the people was not open to them to continue plundering as they used to do. So therefore, he said, "Oh, Supreme Court, who wins? Nobody won, nobody lost." It was a mere. They are the one who lost because the matter is dead. 2024 have been collected and spent, despite all the noise they were making, and now we are in 2025. So there was nothing that warrants all this propaganda. So and that's why I want you media people to also have it. It was a voluntary withdrawal because it had been overtaken. And the reason was spelled out here because the appeal had been overtaken by event, and the event that 2024 have expired. It is on that ground that the case was struck out, and that has ended the matter. The issue of who is speaker or not is still also pending before the appeal court. The cause of the matter is very simple. You wake up one morning, nobody forced you. You left the party upon which you were elected, the People's Democratic Party, and you joined APC because you thought in your desperation that when you join APC, Aswaju will give you the necessary backing to fire political bazooka into Rivers and then illegally remove the governor. And you are singing, "On your mandate we shall stand." But when you discover that it's like passing through the rock of Gibraltar, what did you do? You turn back again and say, "Oh, I'm still in PDP." Because it wasn't about the love of Aswaju or anything. It was about people who thought that they can capitalize on the fact that they woke up in the morning because of their sycophantic nature, or they will be saying Mr. President by mouth, and thinking that will give them access to steal what belongs to the people. And when that could not be possible, then they turn back again. So at the time you decamped, there was no division in the political party that elected you. Your seat automatically became vacant. Whatever is left of that House of Assembly, whether it was 3 or 4, formed the legitimate quorum. And the Supreme Court has also decided it in the Pialon case in Plateau. When those people moved, and what was left of that House of Assembly, the Supreme Court said they formed the quorum to transact the business of the House. And that was what happened. It's not like 4 people are sitting. They are the one filing cases. Remove all those cases and INEC will conduct by-election and they will have the full constitutional quorum. But right now, the Supreme Court recognizes the quorum of 4 because that is what is left. So we should discuss the illegality of your action, the desperation of your action of leaving the place we elected at the time there was no division. Upon that, there was a legitimate orders and rulings of court that backed the emergence of Eddie Sinehi as speaker, and then later on Okejumbo as the speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Government is a wheel, it must continue to run. The madness of 1 man or 2 man cannot stop the wheel of government from running. So if you want the right thing to be completely done, then you stop, junketing from one court to another, and allow a by-election to be held, and if you are popular, you win. But desperation will make you be in PDP, you be in APC, you be in SDP, just one man in all political parties. Because you are aiming for the treasury of the people. What does not even belong to you? So, the very moment you left, and it was televised live, it's on all TV stations, Nigerians have the record, and that's why Nigerians will be waiting to see how this matter will be resolved. Whether we're going to, invent new legislation on this. They publicly left. They swore to an affidavit in court. Are you saying court affidavit and declaration does not matter again? That I have left as far back as December 11 from what he said, and upon that there was a change of leadership based on what is legally left in the house, and then you are running from one court to another. And then when you think it's not working for you, you abandon the Asuwaju and his party that you jumped overnight, that you claim that you love. You now came back and say, oh, there was never a time we left. To achieve what? Because you are desperate to think it can be possible to use the State House of Assembly to destabilize the government. Unfortunately for them, the government have been running effectively and executing more transformational and intergenerational projects more than ever before. Taking bold projects like the Trans-Calabari Highway and other big projects that are taken about, the Ring Road, which past government could not do. And you thought that by gathering some political, butterflies to hibernate in Abuja, they will make the state ungovernable because they are in the House of Assembly, and that you push them to leave the party and they lost their seat, and suddenly when you see it's not working, you are becoming more desperate day by day. So all these things we need to understand is about desperation of one man that is uncalled for. Democracy is not individualistic. It doesn't belong to anybody. And for somebody who is so humble, so accommodating, like Governor Fubara, all these things was unwarranted. All this assault and all this distraction was unwarranted. Today they are debasing our court, putting our court in difficult moments, obtaining injunctions from Maraba to Nyanya, to every part of this country. Because one man wants to seize what does not belong to him. You have a governor who, not even me, I can't do that. I will tell you this one won't work. But to tell you how accommodating and how transparent that he is, he allowed him to appoint all the commissioners, all of them. He allowed him appoint SSG, everything, chief of staff, his cousin. He allowed him appoint the leadership of the House of Assembly. He allowed him retain his local government chairman and the Agon leadership the way he wanted. All commissioners, even the security details, the ADs, everything that makes a government. Even if you have any generating agencies that were there, he left it. No governor, ask all the governors, even governors who are listening to me today knows that no governor in Nigeria have allowed that. But Governor Fubara allowed it. Is this a man you're saying is not loyal, is not respectful, is ungrateful? He allowed you practically have his liver so that peace can reign. Despite the fact that you control the House of Assembly, you handpick them, you have all the commissioners, you have all the special advisors, you have the local government, you have the source of revenue generation, you have everything that makes a government. It still was not enough for you. It's not a Fubara's problem. It's your problem. It's your character. It's who you are. You are intolerant. You can't stay in a conducive environment. And that is why this fight started. The man can't surrender his kidney for peace to reign. As a human being, has to stand up, wanting to even impeach him, even at a time that he's not even up to 2-3 months old in office. At that moment, the humanity in him has to stand up in defense of himself, his family name, his generation, and the state resources. And then since that time, it has been from one trouble to another. Local government chairman tenure will expire. You go and concoct something in a 2-bedroom in Emuha and say they can stay in office forever because you want them to have access to the resources of the people even when they were not elected. They now say, okay, they want to do the election that you said they didn't want to do. Bombs started flying everywhere. Party officers started being shot. Headquarters of council, even after the election head, were being bombed left, right, and center. The IG have not even arrested anybody, even when we know the bombers. Nothing has happened. So there was nothing that warrants all these things. Now multiple cases are being filed. If you go to Federal High Court and Appeal Court, there's no less than 80 cases. Because one man is seeking to take that which does not belong to him. But I want to express my love and happiness for Rivers people and the entire opposition family and reasonable people living in APC for standing firm that there should be a limit to political madness of this nature. You now want to turn our courts so that children yet unborn can feel that our court people cannot trust it? How can they call legalize that lawmakers who decamp before the very eye of every Nigerian are going to still be lawmakers? So that you make an attempt, an illegal attempt to remove the governor? That would be an invitation to anarchy. It will not work. It doesn't matter what you obtain anywhere. It will not, because everybody saw it. There's that which is visible to the blind and clear to the deaf. So, for those who are joining us, the essence of this was to dispel the roadside gossip and rumors that have been sharing online and everywhere that Supreme Court ruled in their favor. The Supreme Court did not deliver any judgment today that affected the legitimacy of the Okejumbo leadership. Supreme Court did not deliver any judgment which Fubara lost. What Supreme Court did today was Governor Fubara, in his great wisdom, invoked and relying on the provisions of Order 11, Rule 14 of the Supreme Court rules, realizing that his appeal over the issue of where 2024 budget should be presented, knows very well that 2024 has passed. Taxes have been collected for 2024. Revenue 2024 have been spent. And in order to save the Supreme Court time, because it's not like those fighting who are professional litigants, who have injunction left, right, and center. He's a man who believes in due process and decency. He decided to withdraw it because what are we appealing against? Are we going to represent it again? It's like representing 1980 budget or 1990 budget. Are we going to collect taxes again to back it up, the expenditure? No, it has been spent. And people can see where those monies were applied. And based on that, Governor of Rivers State urged his lawyer, led by Yusuf Ali and Chris Uche, to withdraw the appeal, which is now an act of academic exercise. And the reason for the withdrawal was spelled out, but they choose to misinform the public because they want to enjoy temporary relief. They have been in hibernation for weeks and months now. So they want something that will make their supporters to feel something is still happening. Now, and that's why it clearly said here, the appeal is being withdrawn because the appeal has been overtaken by Invent. And on that ground, the court now struck it out. So I think that has sufficiently brought this matter to an end because, like I said before, the 2024 budget became spent on 31st December of 2024 fiscal year. So the only reasonable thing to do is to withdraw the appeal and have it, dismissed. So the Supreme Court, being a very busy court, it will be most unwise to distract the Honorable Court with academic appeals without any practical value that will come out of it. So it is this whole thing that these political, archers are celebrating. There's no Supreme Court judgment against Governor Fubara or against Okejumbo, who is the rightful and authentic and still presiding speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly. So these are all just outdated political propaganda. This appeal was voluntarily withdrawn by the governor, and because the 2024 budget cycle have expired and it has been struck out, and I think that is very clear, and there's nothing that warrants anybody to panic. Those who believe in the freedom and liberation that have happened in Rivers is the reason why I'm even speaking on this matter. Because those who want to be having temporary political relief can continue, but it's just because of those who are committed, millions of Nigerians who are in support of the liberation and freedom the people are enjoying today, represented by the leadership of Governor Fubara. Is the reason why I decided to speak on this particular issue. And also that the case on the issue of membership of that House of Assembly is at the appeal court. The case is treated by APP. Is at the appeal court. The case where the judge at the Federal High Court said that it was a pre-election matter, issue of somebody cross-carpeting. And that's what is at the appeal court. And we believe strongly that justice will be done because it's not a pre-election matter. And because Nigerians, everybody saw it, it's a test case for our judiciary. How do you navigate, or how do you go against the fact that Nigerians saw these desperados acting under the instruction of one man, leave their political party at the time there was no division into APC, and then jumped out in the morning again and said they are returning back to PDP? How are they now going to have that legitimacy and moral right to call themselves lawmakers to achieve their uphill, impossible task of attempting to illegally remove Fubara from office? Well, this is what all this boast is all about. And as God has been so kind, the man has, despite all these desperate distractions, the bombing, the killing, everything, has maintained the school and continued to deliver on the promises he made to Rivers people on Rivers First agenda. So that having been said, and also it's very important, I salute the leaders of our party, especially the board of trustee led by Adolphus Wabara and the secretary McAfee and the governors forum. We have said this many times that Damagu and Samuel Anyanwu are agents fully oiled for the purpose of ensuring that PDP is served the fate of ANPP and AD. And as adults and fathers, they willingly accepted these saboteur attacks and carrying it out with no shame, proudly. And I said this, 2 years ago. I have been on this agitation that we need to shut these political desperados down before they destroy what our founding fathers gave to us. They say it wasn't about rivers. In rivers, they went to carry structures without Congress to go and give to APC members. In Imo, the same thing. They carried a member of Labour Party, one Austin or something, and made him chairman. So you can see that they are planting non-members of PDP for the inevitable agenda which they have to work for the opposition. And because they are political cowards who cannot boldly go to another political party and build structure, they need to, like parasite, leech on what our founding fathers has built to achieve their agenda for their paymasters. So let's say that we ought to have had this next meeting a long time. But I'm alerting everybody again that there is plan again to abort this last effort being put in by governors and BOT to have the next meeting on March 13 or thereabout. I have heard they run around the city again with the APC lawyers looking for court to grant them injunction against the next meeting, against the removal of the secretary who has already been removed. There's a plot to abort the next meeting, I'm saying it boldly, by this same Anyanwu and Damagu, and get an injunction again so that they can stay in office till December when they will not do the political nuclear bomb throwing of ensuring that they now hand over the party officially to full APC officers. So I want to salute the governors, yes, late but not bad, for coming boldly despite the complex nature of that decision, boldly standing for history to record them that Ugochinyere is the national secretary of our party and the next meeting must hold in March. I want to appreciate them. Some of them I have castigated them in the past, but if that's why they are bold enough to do the right thing, sorry for castigating you, we must do the right thing. And I want to also thank the board of trustees. Recently they have been attacking Adolphus Wabara. They used to be the ones that used to receive Adolphus Wabara with red carpets. Because Adolphus Wabara has refused to do the yeoman's dirty job, they are now saying that if Adolphus is their father, that they will disown Adolphus. You see the kind of thing that comes out from their mouth. When you don't dance to their tune, you become an idiot that will be attacked. But I want to appreciate Wabara for, despite that attack, which is leaders, both Turaki, both Wodo, both McAfee, and so on and so forth, they still stood firm and said, Anyanwu has no business with this party. It is Right Honorable Ugochinyere that is the national secretary of our party. So I want to alert them that it is not yet over. There is grand design, as I'm speaking to you now, their lawyers are drafting it, to obtain another injunction, to stop the next meeting from holding, and also to continue to retain them in office so that they can complete the national assignment of either electing themselves or appointing full stooge of the APC as our national officers. So no matter what, current conscience, the next meeting must hold in March, as already scheduled by our governors. No governor should chicken out, no BOT member should chicken out, nobody in NWC should chicken out. And now that we are before the Supreme Court, it's very clear what is the matter. It's a very simple matter. You ran for national secretary of the national governorship election, and you became the candidate of the party. Even though party members, we didn't know that we are not serious, you are working for APC. But the constitution is very clear. You left at the very moment you became a governorship candidate. One of those criteria is that you will resign. So as long as resignation is written in the constitution, you are deemed to have resigned the very moment you became the governorship candidate. You don't even need to send in a letter. That's your business. It's like somebody whose tenure of office expires, who's supposed to send in a letter of leave or something. So does it mean that if you don't send the letter of notice of leave or resignation, that the seat will continue to be enjoyed by you? You are deemed disease. You automatically left the very moment you became a governorship candidate, because it is in the constitution that you must resign. Whether it's 30 days, whether it will come by the guideline or whatever, the point that once you contest election, you cannot be holding any executive position in the party. So it's very simple. Anyanwu is no longer secretary of the party. The very moment he ran for the governorship election, which was an entirely joke that he dragged some of us into without knowing. So now you came back after you lost, and then because you go to Port Harcourt carrying the FCT minister's handbag, you now come back, you now say they told you to go and be our national secretary. You now come back to Wadata and say you are national secretary. What kind of nonsense is that? Yes, it took our leaders so long to be bold to state facts on this thing, but it's not yet late. So I want to appreciate also the members of the National Working Committee today. Majority of the NWC members are standing with Ugochinyere as the national secretary of the party and our governors. You have an NWC that over 12 NWC members are standing with us and those who believe that the right thing should be done. They don't even have a quorum to call NWC meeting. No NWC meeting can be called because they don't even have quorum. The national legal advisor, the national public secretary, the national treasurer, the national financial secretary, all of them are standing that the right thing should be done. But only Anyanwu and Damagu are the one who thinks different. It will get to a point that two of them will be writing petitions against our governors and our BOT members to DSS and police. You want to be national. You can see, when you see a political traitor, you know. You are a national secretary. And then you look at the governors who are the ones still holding the life wire of your party. And then you drag them to DSS and police to arrest them and put them in prison. Is that not clear to you that these people are working to ensure that the party is destroyed? And what are you fighting for? Something that you have lost. You have lost at the High Court, you have lost at the Appeal Court, your stay of objection was rejected. But because you are carrying handbag to Port Harcourt, so therefore they tell you to remain, you must remain. You must remain. This is not a land transaction. People must have honor. People must have honor. So that kind of things are here. So instead of issues of, look at the kind of killings all over Nigeria. Where is the place of the opposition? The people are murdering people left, right, center in Nigeria. Like, you know, when you open your newspaper or your TV, killing is like it becomes part of our national life. Is that this opposition or ruling government should be discussing? But people are just, you know, doing things that are so embarrassing because they want to hold the party in trust for those who are cowards, who cannot be man enough to go to another party and follow those that they said they love. Now we're not discussing about the poverty level in the country. We're not discussing about the killings. We're not discussing about, you know, life is becoming horrible. But what we're discussing is whether an imposter like Damagu and Anyanwu should continue to run around from Wike in PDP. Is that what we should be discussing as opposition? So that's why I salute the boldness of the PDP Governors Forum led by Bala Mohammed and his vice, Governor Fubara, and the NWC led by Ugochinyere, our national public secretary, our national legal advisor, our national financial secretary, our national treasurers, and other supporters in NWC, and our BOT led by Wabara for being bold to come out at this moment to say enough of this naked dance of shame. The right thing must be done in PDP. You have our support. Some of us here as federal lawmakers, as state lawmakers, majority of us believe that the right thing should be done at all time, because the opposition time has come for us to shift attention from irrelevant things of this nature. Discussing about a man, a full-blown man that have children and grandchildren deciding to do, you know, a dirty political job against his own political party. That we should go beyond this, throw them in the political dustbin where they belong to, and move forward to do the right thing, so that we can discuss issues of governance, issues of development, and not issues. By now we should be having a memorandum as opposition on our views on constitutional amendment and so on and so forth. We'll be having template on how security challenges can be resolved and how economic challenges can be resolved, and holding government accountable in a very responsible way. But here we're discussing about those who carry handbag to Port Harcourt and the decision to, when they are no longer party officers, to hold on to offices, an office that belongs to North Central, that our constitution is very clear that whenever a vacancy exists, the party shall, from the same zone with the former occupants, is supposed to have appointed a North Central person, and they are sitting on their seat since 2 years, and we're doing back and forth and obtaining injunctions for you from APC, left, right, and center. These are things that are so annoying. And then the other one, you lost. You went to go to a governorship election, you lost your seat, you failed, then they told you in one of the days you carry the handbag and say go back to Abuja, tell them you are still their national secretary. And before you know it, injunctions start flying left, right, and center. He has about 15 injunctions now or more. If you'll be surprised that tomorrow he bring another one out. And none of these matters goes beyond the injunctions. All of them that were confined, they will show it to Nigerians. They obtain it, they keep. So in coming to conclusion, because I didn't want to waste much of your time, first thing is that there was no judgment today from the Supreme Court that affected the status of Okejumbo, who is the rightful Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly, and there's also no judgment that was lost by Fubara what happened today is that the appeal that was filed by Governor Fubara over the issue of where the budget of 2024 should be presented, that the governor, knowing that it is now a mere academic exercise because we're in 2025, taxes have been collected, revenues have been collected, and budgets have been executed, money have been spent. So why are you now in Supreme Court waiting for an appeal on whether you should represent before they sack lawmakers led by Amehun or whatever they call him, or whether it should be Jumbo? So the right thing is to withdraw it because it has been overtaken by events. 2024 have expired. 2025 is what is being implemented now. So such a case is like arguing over Shehu Shagari's budget of 1983 or 82. So when you win it, are you going to recollect revenue in pounds and shillings of those years and spend? So it's something that is dead, and that's why the governor withdrew it. But so unfortunate, in their usual propaganda, they tell people, oh, no case has been lost. No case has been lost. Everything is still intact. The House of Assembly is still intact and is backed by instrument of law, and they have passed 2025 budget and they are executing it. And we're also hopeful that the court will do the right thing on the status of these sacked lawmakers to reaffirm it. Because even the court, so every judge in Supreme Court and Appeal Court must have watched that video, must have seen it on their TV. So when you go now and say black is white, you end up damaging the institution because nobody will believe, because everybody saw it. There are some things that are, like I said before, is so visible to the blind and is so loud to the deaf or dumb, but whatever it is. So it's very clear. You don't need scientific proof on it. There are facts that are, that speaks for itself. And this action is one of those facts that speaks for itself. That they left at a time there was no division, and their seat became vacant automatically. And what they're supposed to have gone through is by election. So the court, everybody is hoping that this issue should be resolved in the interest of our democracy. And secondly, is to alert our party members that these agents, these people who are in PDP but they are members of APC, are now on an autopilot level now to obstruct the scheduled March next meeting. You know, when you finish meeting with them, or when they finish meeting with governors, and they finish with BOT, they run immediately in the night to OCT, where they will review whatever and they tell them, don't agree. And that is the one they listen to. They don't listen to the popular views of party members, they don't listen to popular views of governors, they don't listen to popular views of NWC. They have to go back where they carry handbag and they tell them, oh, don't object, we'll get an injunction for you. You see, so that is why I said every party member needs to know that Anyanwu is doing everything possible to ensure that he comes through the back door for a position he has lost. Same thing with Damagu, who does not want the next meeting to hold. They have fresh plot again to sabotage it from holding by bringing another injunction. So everybody has to be vigilant. The BOT has to be vigilant. The government forum has to be vigilant. The NWC has to be vigilant. Notice should be issued by Ugochinyere and other members of the NWC, and next meeting must hold. One way or the other, next meeting must hold so that we can resolve these issues, so the Nigerians can take the PDP serious, or start taking them serious for once. As it stands today, no Nigerian can take it serious, because they will say, if people who are carrying handbag going to Port Harcourt and FCT are holding you to ransom, why should we Nigerians trust you? You need to quash those political disturbances in your house and get them cleared off. If you can clear them off within a reasonable time, nobody will remain with you. And that is why it is something that is the first conversation, to clean the house of this political, those sellers who does not want their party to. Imagine somebody who wants to be national secretary and national chairman writing a letter to court, to Supreme Court, to Appeal Court, to Federal High Court, that they want cases in court that will help their party to retain control in some state, that they want the cases discontinued, so that APC members can win them. They go to Rivers, they go to Appeal Court, they say they are changing lawyers, and they put an APC lawyer to represent a PDP interest. And then they withdraw appeal, so that those lawmakers who have lost their seats, they can regain the seat illegally and make attempt to impeach their own governor. So you can see how people have elevated political bad carrying against institutional interests of a political party, because they have no shame. This is who they are. They don't see, the people are so disgusted about them. Party members are so bitter with them. Nigerians see them as death. Never in history, even from the time of Shehu Shagari, from those olden days of politics, MPN, MPP, even to SDP, NRC days, and to the time of the UNCP, no politician, no party chairman anywhere in Nigeria has done the kind of political sabotage, or carried out the kind of political sabotage Anyanwu and Damagu has carried against PDP. Nobody in Nigeria history. Nobody from the time of Azikiwe to the time of Shehu Shagari them, MPN, MPP, to the time of SDP, NRC, Babangida, to the time of Abacha days, even UNCP and so on and so forth, and to the time of Obasanjo them, nobody has openly, when you finish, he goes somewhere and they tell him instruction and say, don't agree, I'll give you an injunction. So he won't agree. For 2 years, something that is written clearly in our constitution could not be enforced. North Central could not produce a replacement acting chairman. Injunction flying left, right, and center. And then a national secretary will leave his position, run for governor, go there and disgrace himself because he was never serious from day one. Then come back. And then they tell him, continue calling yourself national secretary. And we are disturbing the court, going from high court to Enugu to appeal court to Supreme Court. Over what nonsense? A very simple tax that shows you the kind of honor and how dishonorable these people are. That's why I say I'm tired of talking about this whole thing. To enforce something that is very simple. So that, and again, you write petitions against your governor and you still want to be national secretary of that party. Because you felt you must destroy that party, you must elevate your political services to people above the growth and survival of an institution that is critical. And I tell you one thing, even when Bola Tinubu was playing opposition, he never descended this low. That's why even as they are doing this in thinking they are pleasing, he will be looking at their crowd that these men are dangerous. So these men are dangerous, so they can do anything. They can. When you sit down and tell them, I want to go and kill PDP, I want to create faction, I want to put down my good, I want to make sure they don't survive. The man will be laughing that you people are dangerous. So because you don't even have, you're not honorable at all. You can say your own mother. That's why you can be doing this kind of nonsense. From Rivers to Bauchi to Delta, everywhere to Edo, commotion, proudly, and they have children and they have grandchildren. Is this what they should teach us? Is this kind of way we should learn to play? And is this what Azikiwe them and all those people who did Lagos movement, all those things did, and we had independence, that people can go so low? You come from Rivers to Imo to everywhere is damaged, and people are living in dope, and it doesn't concern them. Some of them, as long as they have their plot of land, they don't care. To them, that's what politics say. Our politics should be plot of land. So, I didn't know I would start this 2025 talking about this man, because it's now irritating me. So I want to commend the governors of our party and commend the BOT, commend the NWC for standing firm and insisting on match, and I want them to be aware that there's a new plot to sabotage that match arrangement, and they should be up and doing and ensure that current concern that board of trustee meeting holds a match and a substantive acting chairman is selected. Damagu can go to FCT and operate there, but we must have a substantive national chairman. Him and Anyanwu, they're already doing that job. They can make them in FCT what they call it, SA or something on land or anything they want there. So but we must take this party and put it on the path of rebranding and new progress. That is the most important thing. And I also want to restate again that there was no judgment in Supreme Court against the Ugochinyere leadership, and there was no judgment that was lost by Governor Fubara. He withdrew and appealed on the 2024 supplement budget of Rivers State, which has been spent, taxes have been collected, budgets have been fully executed, and because of that, he withdrew his appeal, and the court struck it out. So there was nothing that was lost. Amoyihula and his group have lost their seat, they are no longer lawmakers, and they remain sacked. So I want to thank you all for listening. May God continue to support and bless our nation. Thank you.